Good morning. We've got our coffee, we've got our protein, we got to match the energy level of our guest. Very excited to head on over to the children's department today and introduce you to the next guest on the Almost Monthly podcast. With us today, Ms. Angela Ernst. Angela?
Yes.
Angie?
Both.
Which do you prefer? Both
Angie.
are good?
Yeah.
Angie. Okay.
Angela makes me feel like I'm in trouble.
That's true. I don't want you to feel like you're in trouble. This is just a getting to know each other podcast. Welcome. Thank you for indulging our request. Good to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
Angie is, of course, a early intervention developmental specialist in the children's department.
Yeah.
A job you have held since 2006. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's a long time ago.
I know. I think I'm approaching 20 years.
What do you remember about that first day at work?
Oh my gosh, I remember so much. I remember, number one, not knowing what to wear. That stands out really, that's big, because I remember thinking, I was a teacher before, and we had kind of a strict dress code. So then when I was coming in to work at the Lucas County Board of ED, I'm like, I don't know what to wear, and I don't know anyone that works there. So I'm just going to show up in my teacher attire and hope for the best. And it worked.
That's so funny. I was the same way my first day. I show up suited and booted. I got the full suit, the jacket, the whole thing. We get there. This was December 2021, so we're still all virtual. We get there in my full suit. I'm excited to dress to impress. They say, we're all virtual. Here are your laptops.
Goodbye.
Go back home and we'll continue on Zoom.
Yeah. Wasn't that a wild time? Zoom was wild.
That was a wild time. Yes. Anyway, tell me about your job at the board and what it is that you do and what it is that you enjoy about doing it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. There's so much I enjoy about being a developmental specialist. So, what the early intervention program does is we provide services for kiddos that are birth to 3 that have a developmental delay or are at risk of a developmental delay or a diagnosed condition. Through our services, we go in home. We provide our services directly to the families. So that was a big change too from teaching. We do home visits, and there we create goals that we want to work on based on whatever the area of concern is, and provide our services that way to the family. So our program, the early intervention program at the board, is a smaller department. We have right now, I believe there's 33 developmental specialists, but we serve a ton of kids. Every year we have around 700 to even more, 800 kids on our caseloads active. So it's an amazing job. It's a hard job at times. Oftentimes when families are coming into early intervention, they either received a diagnosis at birth, and we're kind of those first people walking into their lives to help and to make the diagnosis better. And oftentimes parents come to us when they're scared. They think something might be wrong. They want another set of eyes. Pediatricians refer a lot because there's just something that they want us to take a deeper look at.
Yeah.
But through that, we get to see amazing things. And we get to work with the preemies coming out of the NICU, and, they were born a couple pounds, and we get to see them do all the amazing things. So I consider it the best job in the world. I'm very vocal about that. I love my job. I love the families in Lucas County. They're amazing. And these kiddos, it's incredible to see them overcome obstacles and just shine. I love it.
Yeah, that's so certainly childbirth is overwhelming to any parent anywhere. It's got to be rewarding to at least be not only an expert, but a shoulder that parent can lean on in what no doubt is even crazier and more overwhelming situations that some of these parents are in.
Absolutely. Right. Yes. And I think a lot of us, when you're involved in someone's life during a time like that, or, when they've just had a baby and maybe things aren't going the way they thought it was going to go after childbirth, you become very bonded to the family. You create a tight knit, and I think the family realizes right away they have a team now. They have people rooting for them, and they're not doing this alone. Yeah. This is a team effort now.
So you are going on 20 years, as you said. I assume by now there are children that you had when you started that are now adults and are still at the board or have, moved on. But do you have any examples of that, or any family or any kiddo that sticks out?
I do. So one of my first kiddos, she was adopted, and she was on my caseload when I was really new. And she had some gross motor delays, but worked through them. Her adoptive mom was amazing. It was foster originally and then adoptive. They provided her with incredible resources and support. I'm actually Facebook friends with her now. Awesome. And she reached out to me, and she said she remembers me.
That's awesome.
She remembers coming to the home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's in college.
And she's in this area still?
No, she actually moved to Florida.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's doing phenomenal. And that's the other fun thing. Sometimes years go by where you're involved in these babies' lives for 3 years, and then, they age out of our program, and maybe they go on to preschool. But oftentimes the parents reconnect later on, and they want to show you, that their kiddo just received a black belt, or which has happened, or, is singing in a musical performance. Yeah. So it's fun.
That's great. Prior to the board, you said you were at Westside Montessori.
I was, yes.
Talk about that experience and just how that led you to the board, or what piqued your interest about the board to apply for this job.
Okay. So, I was a teacher at Westside Montessori for a few years, and I had already started my master's degree in special education, and I knew I wanted to go the special ed route. So I was getting close to finishing my master's, and it was actually the special ed kind of director of Westside that had talked to me about early intervention, and I decided from there to apply. I didn't even know if I was qualified. And
you and me both applying for these jobs.
Just going with it. And so ironically, they did tell me that, even with a master's degree, there's a specific license you need to be able to do this job. So I had to go get that license, then switch over. And it's been amazing ever since. So that's kind of how I ended up here. It was actually someone at Westside that encouraged me.
Were they trying to get rid of you?
I think they were throwing me out.
Spinning it in a positive light that, check out this great opportunity here.
I think so. Hey, maybe you should go there.
So your master's is also in special ed? Mm-hmm.
So my bachelor's is in regular education. It's just my bachelor's is education, and then my master's is special ed, K to 8.
Yeah. Gotcha. And both from
UT,
the fine University of Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. What else are we going to talk about? You have quite the age gap in kiddos, as I understand. Talk about the family structure.
That's wild. I feel like that could be a podcast in itself. So I have a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's, definitely a lot of craziness in our house. All 3 of my kids are very active. My oldest is a football player, and
go Mules,
right? Go Mules, yeah. And he's also a power lifter for Bedford, and which means my 5-year-old is kind of drug around everywhere, like lots of varsity football games, and yeah. But it's also a really beautiful thing to watch your teens be able to have a baby sibling that they, they didn't know they loved and wanted, but they do. And it's an incredible bond.
Yeah. Do they feel preferential treatment or... Now, my age gap isn't as big, but my 10-year-old swears that the 4-year-old is my favorite child and gets special treatment.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't get treated
Constant.
Like she does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Constant. It's like almost a daily conversation where they tell me that my littlest gets away with more than they ever could. But
it is true, by the way. I wouldn't tell my oldest that, of course, but that is true.
I'm tired. I'm just tired now. This is my third time.
Exactly. And you were just telling us about an achievement for your powerlifting son.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So his name is officially going to go on the wall of the weight room for, I believe it's the chest press. So
Excellent.
yeah, that's a big deal.
Can you tell us how many pounds he
You know
benched?
what? He's going to actually kill me because I used to know it and now I don't.
Well, if you're ever by
He's a member-
Medford High School, check out the wall.
Just everyone go look at the wall. He's a member of the 1,000-pound club. I know that.
Okay.
So I don't,
Okay.
I know it has to equal 1,000 pounds. The chest press, deadlift, leg press.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that
So I
makes
don't know
more
what
sense.
he did on the chest press.
Okay. That's fair. I did want to ask you, and I feel slightly, but English second language, so bear with me here.
Mm-hmm.
What is ghost hunting and why do you love ghost hunting?
Okay. Number one, I can guess who told you that. I can guess which one of the coworkers told you that. Okay. I wouldn't say I hunt a ghost. I definitely have gone on a lot of haunted history tours.
Okay.
And I'm intrigued by them. I think they're fascinating. But I don't actively hunt a ghost. I would love to see one if one wants to
Do you feel like you have seen one in your hunts?
not at all.
Give me an example of a haunted.
Okay, so we've done. So by the way, I feel like I should. I feel like I should say this. My husband does not believe in ghosts, so it makes it 100 times better.
Right. Absolutely.
So I drag him on all of them, and he just goes with me because he has to. And so I've taken him on haunted history tours in Salem. We've done them in Key West was one of our favorites.
Okay.
All over the Mansfield. Oh my gosh, I have a funny story about the Mansfield prison, the Ohio State Reformatory.
Yeah. Made famous in Shawshank Redemption,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. And you can, by the way, you can do an incredible tour there of the movie, which probably everybody would love.
Yeah.
As opposed to my haunted one. My haunted tour I made my husband go on. We chose to sit in solitary confinement during the tour, which is they actually take you into the cells, you sit down, it's pitch black, there's no windows, there's no sound. But we fell asleep because DJ, our littlest, had a horrific ear infection and he was not sleeping at all. And we were just so exhausted. So when we went in there, we were sitting our backs were towards each other.
Was DJ with you or just?
Oh God, no.
Oh, okay.
No, this was adults only.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was just a fun thing. We had friends with us. Some of our good friends were there and we fell asleep. I mean, we woke up to them being like, "Hey guys, time to come out." And when we got out, everybody's like, "Oh, that was so amazing." And that was scary. Yeah. And they came to us and they were like, "What'd you guys think?" We were like, "Oh, we fell asleep. We were just really tired. Our kiddo has an ear infection." So we've done some fun stuff in Charleston and Savannah and stuff too, but no, never seen anything.
Never seen anything.
No.
The thrill of the chase is obviously.
I guess so. It's at this point in time, I think it's just like a battle between him and I. And he is adamant to prove to me there's nothing. And I'm like, well, now it's on. Now we'll do these forever now.
That's great.
Yeah.
If we can get back to your husband that indulges you in these ghost chases, tell me more about him and how your paths crossed.
Okay. So we actually went to high school together, but we were not really even friends.
High school was also Go Mules, right?
Go Mules. We're like diehard Bedford.
Multi-generational.
I guess so.
Okay.
Actually, my mom graduated from there.
Wow.
And my grandpa, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. So when we were in high school, my good friend liked him.
Okay.
And Dane was a wrestler. And so she would bake him cookies for after his meet. And I was like, this is pathetic. Why are we even doing this? And so it's funny because she really liked him.
Okay.
Whether they dated or not, I'm actually not really even sure. Okay. I'll have to ask her sometime. But then years down the road, we kind of reconnected, and he asked me if I wanted to go get coffee. And I was like, sure, I would love to.
Who can say no to coffee?
I mean, it's coffee. And here we are.
Okay. Obviously, our research team here at the Almost Monthly podcast, I see your wedding date was July 21st. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. In 2020. Is that correct?
COVID.
So what was that like? Was there 6 foot of space between each person? The daddy-daughter dance was actually across. It was
wild. So it was actually July 19th.
Oh, okay.
But it was, getting married in COVID was crazy. We had a huge wedding planned, and then COVID happened, and everything shut down. So the best part about this is we had a wedding planner, and she is still a great friend of ours, and we love her to death, but she went through it with us. So we canceled the big wedding, and just kind of, we were like, well, now we don't know what to do. And I'll never forget the governor saying, we're going to allow small weddings again, because we were like, this is our chance. We were allowed 50 people max. And our goal was to get married at Echo, which is a sculpture downtown that Dane built. Yep. And have the reception at the Libby House, which is a historic, beautiful home in the Old West End. There were severe storms that day, so we decided to not get married in a big metal sculpture with our 50 closest friends and family. We moved everything to the Libby House, and it was perfect.
That's awesome.
It was a very, very fun day. It was the first time we had seen some of our friends.
Wow.
And it was just...
Since like March or whatever, I assume, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's awesome. Okay, so you kind of alluded to it, but you co-own with Dane Toledo Twisted Iron. Mm-hmm. How did that come to be? And tell us about some of the more famous stuff in the area that us and whoever's watching has probably seen or walked by, but didn't know that your husband created it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the crazy things about art. So much of it we recognize, but we really don't know who created it or the story behind it. So Dane started Toledo Twisted Iron, probably about 16 or 17 years ago. And
So long before you were...
Long before me. And it was a smaller company at that time. He primarily did art and a lot of railings, so decorative handrails. He's created so much work downtown. A lot of the bars were built by Dane. A lot of, he's done work at the Mud Hen Stadium. A lot of our bars downtown that have like outdoor fencing, especially if it's decorative. He just did a ton of work at Poco Piatti's. He built their gazebo area for them. It's beautiful. It's all made out of iron.
The one at Glass City Metro Park or the one downtown?
Downtown.
Okay.
And he did... Oh, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't Poco. It was Poco Loco.
Okay.
Poco Loco downtown is where he built the gazebo, and it's gorgeous. It's very pretty. He did... Echo was his biggest sculpture. It's actually the biggest sculpture in the city of Toledo.
Really?
And it's most people know of it as the Rings downtown in ProMedica Park. I don't know. Have you ever been down there, Nabil? Mm-hmm. Have you stood inside Echo?
I've walked through it. There were 3 children with me at the time, so I don't know if standing was an option, but we did walk through it. First time, like really thinking how cool this is was, don't they do a Christmas lights display down there? Yeah. And we had walked through. I was like, oh, this is really, like, even my kids were like, this is really cool. Right. Through it.
Right.
But yes, go on.
So when you are in there, it echoes. And so, so that's hence the name. And what we have found is when Party in the Parks have concerts, people kind of flock to the sculpture because the acoustics of it are amazing.
That's awesome.
He also did the fire pits downtown. So when you're walking around, if you see, they're really decorative fire pits that have different geometric shapes throughout them. He built those. He's done work in Cleveland, Chicago.
Wow.
Where we have a project we're getting ready for in St. Louis. So he's an amazing sculptor. Our company does a lot of staircases and handrails. So it's kind of like the art is more, kind of a side piece of it now. That's the unique aspect of it. But I think right now we probably have about 14 staircases and handrails in the shop that are being built.
That's amazing. And the shop is here in Toledo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
What was your knowledge of art or anything about this before meeting your husband?
Really, I would say none.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to draw something, it's a stick figure. It looks like a kindergartner would draw it. And when I started and this is the thing about Dane, his friends are all artists. So when I was getting involved with them, I realized like, wow, these people are talented.
Yeah.
And now the amazing thing about it is not only do we have Dane's artwork, we have a sculpture in one of our living rooms. We have his friend's artwork throughout our house. Some of my favorite artwork is by someone named Danny Herrera. She's in Toledo here.
Okay.
She does demi art. So she uses like mixed media to create her art. So it's opened my eyes to how many incredible artists we have in Toledo. And it just, I feel like my mind is blown all the time by it.
Yes, there really are, and definitely underrated, as we were talking about earlier. A personal, we can call it a personal passion project, right? That you and he donated the Kicking Mule statue. We're going to show a picture while we're talking about it, but talk about how that came to be.
Okay.
And it's a pretty unique and really awesome piece.
Thank you. We were at one of my son's football games, and we were looking around at our stadium, which had just been newly, renovated, and it's beautiful. And I think because I'm so in tune with art now, I start to notice where it's missing. And I looked at Dane and I said, we really need a mule sculpture here. And he was like, I don't know if this is the right setting for it. And I was kind of persistent. I'm like, no, I think we need to, maybe we should donate one. I think that's what's going to top the stadium off.
Yeah.
And so we met with the superintendent, and he jokes about it now because we literally walked into his office and we were like, hey, we'd like to build a mule for you. And he was like, what? And one of the first things he said to us.
Only in Bedford could you say this, by the way.
He was just like, okay. And Dr. Schultz, one of the first things he said to us is, well, we don't have the funding for it. And Dane and I said, we're not worried about that. That's not what we're worried about. We have amazing friends. And the supplies we need for this, we know we will get them to cover. And so then I had to send a text to my friends saying, hey, guys, I'm going to need you to foot the bill on this mule sculpture. And they were like, okay. And so when we started coming up with the design of it, Dane hated all of them. And he just was like, no, I don't like this. And he finally said, I'm going to build the whole thing out of horseshoes. And I really was against the idea.
Yeah.
I thought, it's not going to look right. This is not what I envisioned. And he's like, but I'm the artist, and I'm going to do this out of horseshoes. And so we bought the horseshoes from an Amish farm about, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 hours south of here. They thought we were nuts. 'Cause, I mean, you have no idea how many horseshoes were in our garage.
Do you have an idea?
I'd have to look it up. I mean, thousands.
Okay.
Thousands that we had to carry back in boxes. Our neighbor actually had to go get them. And we still have, I'd say probably 7 or 8 boxes of horseshoes.
Wow.
But the key was, because they were being blacksmithed, they had to be real, authentic horseshoes. We couldn't order them off Amazon.
Yeah.
And we also didn't realize that a lot of the Amish families, when they're making adjustments to the horseshoes, they use a certain type of metal that we actually then had to burn off of the horseshoes. So we would take the horseshoes out of the box, put them in a forge, burn all the excess metal off, then clean them.
Every single horseshoe.
Every single one we used. Yeah.
Okay.
And every single horseshoe was forged. So even my son, our neighbors, it was a true community project. We had so much help because we needed it. There's no way we could have gotten that project done in a couple months like we did without massive amounts of help. And so we had assembly lines going, and there was a massive forge in my driveway because we built a mule there. We just said, let's do it.
Yeah.
Our neighbors would pull lawn chairs over and just hang out and watch the madness.
How tall is it?
Gosh, how tall is he? I remember us saying to Dr. Schultz that we wanted him to be about 9 feet tall.
Wow.
And Dr. Schultz agreed to that and said, that's great. And then when we started building him, everything Dane builds is massive. Mm-hmm. So it was way bigger than that. And I'll never forget Dr. Schultz coming over to look at the mule. And he looked at Dane and said, this is a lot bigger than what we talked about. And then it went on a 3 or 4 foot pedestal.
Yeah.
So I don't know the exact height of him, but
this massive thing is in your driveway as your neighbors are driving and walking or whatever by for, I assume, weeks and months as you're building it.
Yeah, 2 months. And it was definitely a sight to see.
So you had said this was totally your idea, which it does sound like it's totally your idea. Mm-hmm. But I do have to say, given the sculpture, really the make it out of horseshoes piece was what cinched the awesomeness of this thing.
Yeah,
so we do have to give him some credit.
I mean, we'll give him a little.
I think totally your idea is a little misleading.
It was mine.
That the critical piece that it be made out of horseshoes was not your idea.
No, it was not.
In fact, you were against it sounds like.
I kind of was. I just, in my head, I couldn't envision it the way he could.
Yeah.
And, when we're building a sculpture, there's engineers involved and blueprints. And there's safety features that have to come into play.
Sure.
This can never fall over. And we have to make sure that the ground is stable enough to hold this sculpture. There's so many different dynamics that go into building a sculpture. And I felt like doing it out of the horseshoes was going to overcomplicate it. And I thought it doesn't need to be, we're going to make a mistake and this is going to just end terribly. And when he started making the first leg of the mule, I was watching him, weld these horseshoes together and bend the metal and blacksmith it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, I'm starting over. I hate this. And he tore the whole thing down. And I'm like, oh no, here we go. But he knew what he wanted.
Yeah. So I imagine anywhere in town you're going where you see his work, there's some amount of pride that comes with that. But I imagine going to football games at Bedford now with your own son playing on the team, there's got to be a whole nother level of
we're very proud
pride
of it.
in what you've done. And
yes, very proud of it.
Donated to the school.
Very proud of it. It's beautiful. I think it's a piece that will stand out forever in my eyes in the stadium. We're also really proud of our friends that stepped up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, we understood the craziness of asking them to help with this project, and they believed in us. And that speaks volumes. Obviously, Dane's an incredible artist, and they knew that. So I think a lot of our friends knew, okay, he'll pull this off. But it was a lot to ask of people. Bedford, and even the community, even when we started building the sculpture and I was doing updates on Facebook, I would, post little pictures and say, this is where we're at with the sculpture. We had people saying, can I come over and donate anything? Can I come over and help? I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, that is awesome. Back to work a little bit. I understand you are a big fan of using puppets to help folks learn.
Yeah.
That's got to be cool,
Puppets
especially for kiddos, the age groups that you're dealing with. How did that idea come to be for you? And what kind of puppets do you use?
Okay. So I also know who told you that too, by the way, because they make fun of my puppets. So When you're working with toddlers,
I just want to thank you again, nameless person.
she's amazing. When you're working with toddlers, it's hard to get engagement at times.
Yeah.
And it's trial and error. And even some of the things that work one day might not work the next. And especially if you're working on language development or feeding or, anything, children seem to relate well to puppets. And when you pull a silly puppet out and maybe start pretending to feed it or pretending to do signs with it, it's almost immediate engagement. And maybe if that child doesn't want to engage with you, maybe they even have a little bit of, aversion to making eye contact, or they don't want to look you in the eyes, they almost always will look at a puppet. And so it's a great tool to get engagement.
And even with all the technological advances, it seems like it's still undefeated as far as capturing kids' imagination.
I think the best toys are our old school toys.
Yeah.
When I think about some of my favorite toys, they're so basic. Blocks, incredible. Basic train sets.
Yeah.
Puppets, Mr. Potato Head, anything like that, where as long as you're sitting on the ground face to face with that kiddo and playing, that's how you get the engagement. And that's how you really can work on your goals.
It beats working for a living, right?
I play.
Right.
All day.
What inspired you to get into education in the first place? Was it a teacher? Was it, willingness to do something?
I would say it was my mom. My mom worked for Toledo Public Schools for 22 years, I think. And she worked in the field of special ed as well. My aunt was a teacher. I feel like I kind of just grew up with education as part of my life.
Yeah.
I had some amazing teachers. I also had some really bad ones. And I think that plays a part into it too,
Yes.
where you realize like, wow, they're in the wrong field.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of teacher friends that I've talked to was either a really good teacher that inspired them to deliver that to students, or a really god-awful teacher that they wanted to become a teacher. It's that nobody has experience,
And I think that's important.
what that person went through.
You're trying to make it better for future generations and change education.
Yep. Angie, if you go back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell younger self?
I would probably tell...
Other than bake cookies for Dane during wrestling season.
Why didn't I bake the cookies? I mean... That would have been incredible. I think one of my younger self, like a piece of advice I would give myself goes back to like one of my favorite sayings, which is, the days are long, but the years are short. And I feel like when you're growing up, sometimes time can fly by in the blink of an eye and you don't even realize to sit back and embrace some of those moments or some of those times in your life where, you don't realize until much later how important or vital those were in your life or in your development. And younger kids are in such a rush to grow up, and there's so much pressure on them.
And I feel like, speaking from my own personal, I feel like parents are also sometimes in a rush
100%.
for the kid to,
Yes.
be more mature or talk more maturely or be less dependent.
100%.
Yeah.
And I recently went through that with my son getting his driver's license. I was excited about it until I wasn't, until it happened.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have to drive him to practice anymore. Like on this day, starting this day, I'm never going to have to drive him to practice. I cannot even explain in words how much I miss it.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I was going to miss those moments of running him back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And now I do.
Okay, we're just going to go through some quick fire questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Give me a recent moment of joy that you experienced, either at work, outside of work, just a moment of joy that you recall recently.
We took a trip recently to Savannah, and it was our whole family trip. And I was laying on the beach. We were on Tybee Island, and I was watching my family play in the waves, and like true joy belly laughs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I loved
just
it.
your immediate family or like
Nope, immediate family.
Okay. Okay. Driving or flying?
We drove there.
Wow.
I know, that's a first for us. We traveled
like,
quite a bit.
12, 13 hours, right?
It was 12, but we broke it up.
Okay.
So we stopped in Virginia.
Okay.
And it made it healthy so nobody murdered each other in the car.
Okay. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning.
Not surprised in the slightest. We were having a coffee conversation earlier, talking about your coffee routine that you were discussing.
Okay. Yeah. Coffee is very important to me. Mm-hmm. And I honestly can't think of a day where I have not had coffee, which might be good or bad. I don't know.
No, it's very good.
But what we were talking about earlier, when I drink my coffee, I also drink a protein drink. So they like kind of go hand in hand. And I think that that's the breakfast of champions.
So you don't mix them. You have...
No, I drink them separate.
Gotcha.
But at the same time, usually.
Sure. Okay. Makes sense. And then that's it for the day, or you continue throughout the day having coffee?
No, I'll usually have like one or two more cups.
Good. Good answer. That's the correct answer.
I have a sign in my house that says behind every successful person is a substantial amount of coffee.
Oh my God. Amen. Mm-hmm. That is... I'm going to have to find that. That's really great. Go-to comfort food.
Tacos and chips and salsa.
Is there a favorite place you have in town?
La Fiesta.
Where is that?
It's over off of Reynolds in Maumee.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I love their food, and I love their chips and salsa.
Two solid choices. Favorite way to spend a weekend?
Ooh, that's a good one. My favorite way to spend the weekend is always with my kids, doing something. We're kind of like off the beaten path type people. We do, I would say we're pretty adventurous. Mm-hmm. Most of our vacations are not like cookie cutter. We like kind of finding unique and interesting things to do. A couple weeks ago, I took our littlest to a teepee in Hocking Hills on a bison ranch, and we stayed for the weekend. It was amazing.
Pardon my ignorance here. I assume there were bison on this ranch.
There were.
Okay. How cool was that?
It was incredible. He loved it.
Bison and buffalo are amazing animals.
Yes.
Favorite app on your phone?
Spotify.
Spotify. Okay. Good answer. Any playlists you go to? Any playlists you created? Any music you lean into?
I do. I have some playlists that I've created of like Morgan Wallen, Zach Bryan, that kind of music. Nice.
And I do want to mention you do have a early intervention type TikTok channel, right? Or TikTok handle?
I do. Every once in a while, I'll post some fun stuff about just usually child development.
So look it up on TikTok or go to the children's page on our website. We link to it there. Let's see here. I think that's about it, my friend. Thank you for joining us. This was fun.
It was so fun.
Thank you for letting us learn a little more about you.
Thank you.
Any parting thoughts, parting words of wisdom?
No, I appreciate you having me. Thank you. It was super fun. I think I honestly think we need to do a podcast where we reverse it and we're asking Nabil questions.
Oh man. I think that's a terrible idea.
I think it's the best idea.
We'll talk with management about this. But thank you again, ma'am.
Thank you.
Go Mules.
Go Mules.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time with another episode of getting to know our staff members and our colleagues here at the Almost Monthly podcast.